What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with the last of the deck profiles for the year. And of course, I could not leave you guys without a Harpie deck profile for the end of 2020 and the last of uh, December. So it's pure Harpie lady. We're gonna be seeing all the loveliest of ladies of the Harpie archetype, and I'm gonna just go over a couple of things as well. So why don't we go ahead and get into it? So starting off with the monster lineup: 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Lady, 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 2 copies of Harpie Harpist, 1 Queen, 1 Dancer, 1 Miss Valley Apex Avian, 1 Miss Valley Thunderbird, and 1 Barrier Statue of Stormwind. So that rounds out the monster lineup. Then let's go on to the spells. We got 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 3 copies of Elegant Ingetus, then 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 copy of Alluring Mirror Split, 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of Swallow's Nest, and 2 copies of Unexpected Die. For the trap cards, a full set of Harpie's Feather Storm and 1 copy of Hysteric Party. For the extra deck, 2 copies of Cyber / Harpie Lady, 1 copy of Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Farragy, the Burden Blossom, 1 copy of Union Carrier, 1 copy of Samorg, the Bird of Sovereignty, and 1 copy of Shrag, I think his name is Shrag, the Ominous Omen. Then, for the Exceed monsters, 1 copy of that Gusto Emerald, 1 Lightning Chidori, 1 Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 Utopia Ray, 1 Utopia the Lightning, and 1 AA Zeus Sky Thunder. So that pretty much rounds out the main any extra deck. So I'm going to go through a couple of cards and pieces as I go through each section. It's going to be relatively straight. Actually, before I do, let me go get Vespianato, because I want to talk about him as well. Vespianato, because I also want to add this monster into the fray as well. So, let's start off with the monsters. So, as we all know, the biggest thing about Harpies is the swarm, and I wanted to keep that in this pure version of Harpies. Some variations run Harpie Lady Sisters, which is perfectly fine, because I've also said this, that I do love the inclusion of a lot of the new support cards, because it focuses on levels 5 or higher. Although it could have been a little better if we did get a retrain of Harpie Lady Sisters to at least add on to what we already had. Now, I'm not saying Harpie Lady Sisters is a bad card, it's just not good either. It's very, very... It has a lot of offs and a lot of on. A lot of goods and a lot of bads. I don't know why I phrased it as off and ons. It has a lot of goods, it has a lot of bads. But when it does come to the goods, unlike... It's kind of similar to Harpie's Pet, where high-level Harpie monster, there are multiple ways of summoning it. One is a little harder to summon than the other. That's literally all it is. Like, if Sisters didn't have the whole, it can be normal summon or that, and they had to be first summoned through Egotus, then Sisters would be a lot more viable. Like, if they really just cut out that whole, cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summon, then honestly, Sisters would be perfectly fine, because you could summon it off of Channeler, you can drop it off of multiple cards, it's a level 5 or higher Harpie monster. So, yeah, it's just, that little phrase is kind of what hurts it. But other than that, look at all the benefits you do have from the Harpies that are still used. You have your rank 4 engine, you have a synchro setup, and you have a lot of link plays you can get with Harpies. And that does come from, of course, 2 of its big and commanding leads, Harpie Perfumer and Harpie Channeler. Channeler is, of course, the go-to Harpie monster. The ability to special summon any Harpie from the deck to the field by discarding a Harpie card. Then the fact that if you control the dragon, she becomes level 7, which is only going to be a rare occasion, because the only dragon here is Phantasmal, and that's a stretch there. unless like I do party into Phantasmal. Oops, didn't even do that. Okay, then we have Perfumer, who gets her search for any spells or child cards, specifically this Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. If you have the level 5 or higher, she's able to add an additional card, just as long as they don't share the same name. And because this is done on a normal or a special summon, you get a lot of combo pieces there. Like, you can just go get my Channeler. My Channeler can go get her. She goes get, well, you summon, go get Channeler. You summon her off of Channeler. You go get your ego, and you just climb, climb, climb. With your special summons. Then let's talk about Harpie Lady. Now, you can run Harpie Lady 1, you can run Cyber Harpie Lady, but for this variation, I want to run Harpie Lady because I can focus on the spell Unexpected Die, which has been seeing a lot of play in a lot of decks that do run normal monsters or have an option of running a normal monster because it already puts one monster on the board, and that's literally what Harpies still kind of need is that extender, like that whole, like we need a cyber dragon. Like I think that's probably it. We need a cyber dragon, and then have it have some type of abilities attached to it. Like, hey, if you have this or this, you can get this and this, or you can do this and this when it leaves the field. Stuff like that. And of course, it has to say it's treated as Harpie Lady while in the field or in the graveyard, because that is also the biggest key thing to a lot of the cards that treat themselves as Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. Because it helps extend the pieces that are Harpie Lady. Oracle retrieves the spelling child cards that have Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. She is able to special summon herself when you control a level 5 or higher monster from your hand, which also helps there because it's like I said, it's the climb and it's the reach with the effects. And the more Harpies you summon, the more things you can put onto the board. Now you can dump one Harpie Oracle to put in the Harpie Sisters, or try to at least fit in the Sisters if you want to play Sisters. Harpies is your searcher. She has a bounce, but it's very situational. But it still can be handy to get rid of stuff. One queen, one dancer, because they're not as resourceful as they used to be, but they still can do some things to help the deck go off. We have the Miss Valley Avion combo, because that's a thing Harpies can play around with and play around with well. And of course, our old friend, the Barrier Statue of Stormwind, to lock your opponent in. You and your opponent into summoning nothing but wind monsters, but as you can tell, wind is not hard for Harpies to summon because we have so many different options. Now let's move on to just a couple of other things you can add to it. You can add Ash Blossom if All Outs fails. If you don't want to run Harpie Lady, you can X out the Unexpected Die. You can put in some Ash Blossoms. You have Cockle-Doodle-Doo if you want to play around with an option for Halquify Bricks, because that's also a monster too. And we already talked about Sisters. So moving on to the spells, Triple Hysteric Sign, the ability to search for your 3 Harpie cards and add them to your hand, or grab Elegant Aegis from your deck or grave, which helps get, like I said, combo potential, combo game, combo setup, all in one card. Only downside, you got to pick and choose which effect you're going to use because you can't use both of them in the same turn. But Elegant Aegis, this is the Harpies extender next to Hysteric Party, because of the fact that you can have any Harpie Lady on the field, such summon a Harpie Lady or Sisters from your deck or hand to the field. And this is where Sisters comes in if you want to have the option of running a high level Harpie in your deck without having to run into a dragon. With Sisters, like I said, Sisters can be whatever option you want. You can also run Harpie Lady 1 or Cyber Harpie if those are your preferences as well. You have back row removal in the forms of Harpie's Honey Ground and Harpie's Feather Duster. You have Harpie's Feather Rest for your Pot of Aphris for your Harpies. And you have Alluring Mirror Split, which is most likely going to be used for its secondary effect when it's destroyed by a Harpie card effect or your opponent's card effect. You just summon a Harpie from your graveyard to the board. Then we got the Swallow's Nest to start playing around with our Winged Beast, putting Barrier Statue of Stormwind on the board. Maybe go get Perfume or Channeler. Just your ins and outs with this. And it helps dodge a lot of card effects as well. Speaking of card effects, Forbidden Droplets. Now, this is a card that I kind of personally don't have a replacement for it right now in terms of a physical build if you can't afford to get to Droplet. A video I watched recommended Forbidden Chalice, which only really just negates the monster effect. Um, but it gives them attack points. This reduces the monster's attack by half. Well, based on the number of cards that you send from your hand or field to the graveyard. You also get the added bonus of making sure that the original type of cards that you send to the graveyard, your opponent can't activate cards with their effects. So you can send, Hysteric Sign and a random Harpie, like Harpies, to the graveyard, and that stops monsters and spells for the rest of the turn from your opponent. So you can do some really nasty things, and then get to search off of it as well. Then we move on to Harpie's own nasty little negation, and that's Harpie's Feather Storm, which everything in the deck can help you relatively qualify to activate this card, because you just need a Winged Beast, which is not hard. You can also activate this from your hand if you control a Harpie. Negating your opponent's monster effects is key. You have a way to search this card out thanks to Hysteric Sign. And you can also utilize all of its abilities because Feather Duster is unbanned in TCG. So you got all your outs to it. Now, then the only other card to talk about is our Massive Swarm, and that's Hysteric Party, which I am still running one party at least because like I said, the Swarm can be so beneficial. The only thing is we don't have anything to really search for party or Hysteric Sign. So hopefully in the future we do get a Harpie monster that allows us to do such. Because, it's a lot of monsters, spells, and traps that can. They're very, very situational, and some of them are also limited to their own abilities. So, moving on to the extra deck, two Cyber / Harpie Lady, our big beat stick, our level 5 or higher Harpie, our Synchro Monster. You can use any Harpie as a tuner for the Synchro Summon of her. She's Harpie Lady on the field in the grave, and she has this really nice quick effect that can help you bounce an opponent's monster to control back to hand, or one of your Harpie monsters back to hand. So, really good options there. Tons of gameplay with her. Unfortunately, not same for Conductor, but Conductor is still played. I'm playing one of her because she can be resourceful as well. More so of a defensive thing. But remember, a great offense can be a great defense. And Conductor can be very defensive. Blowing up your own spell and trap cards to help you protect your monsters can be very useful. Not to mention, you're blowing up your own spell and trap cards, so she can blow up stuff like Hysteric Sign, she can blow up a Lord Mirror Split, she can blow up an unaffected die that doesn't have any use, so that you can protect your Harpie monsters from being destroyed. She also has her little bounce effect you can play around with Harpie Dancer. Farigite, just another extender, and then she has some hand correction attached to her, so if you're playing the Beast family scenarios and stuff, Farigite can help out with that. Union Carrier is here with the Samorg thing, with the Samorg lock, the Samorg Avian Thunderbird lock. You could grab Harpies as well and put her onto a Harpie or to a Winged Beast and have her sent off. Samorg can grab any Winged Beast and put it onto the field. You can grab a Berry statue, you can grab Avian, and you have the Avian lock. You have this guy right here, Shreg, the Omnis Omen. You're primarily just using this card to help you get rid of threats. Whenever it's summoned or a Beast family card is summoned to the field, banish any card on the field, and you can, in Sun to Grave, you can summon a monster whose level is equal to the rank. No, the link markers of this card. No, banish monsters you have. Sorry, because I really don't use that one. I just use the banish. Dagusto Emerald to summon Harpie Lady to the field, or be able to power average your non-Harpie monsters. Chidori for removal. You got some direct poke in defense from Harpie's Pet Phantasmal. 0-5 for her, Massive Negate. Utopia Engine to climb up to Utopia to Lightning for another high beat stick. And the massive removal thanks to AA Zeus. Don't have really any big options right now to fit in for Zeus if you can't get Zeus. My only option is to tell you to run Vespian Nato and then go into Gaia Charger if that's anything. But it's just an option in case, because cards are expensive physically. But that rounds out the deck profile, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Description box is full of my social media links, and